here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation like we always do. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, duration 1 minute long, and background color is black. And simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title section. Now I got one quote related to motion graphics from ChatGPT. So I'll simply paste that quote over here, and let's change the font of this one just for now. The quote is moving ideas turns truly creative. Okay, out of this quote I am going to animate this creative text first, and then we will animate this other words. So let's bring this quote over here just for the reference. Okay, now let's type our first word, which is creative. Okay, and over here let's select this, and we are going to change the font of this one. I don't want this font. Okay, so let's try to select something else. Okay, let's choose normal font, not this one. Okay, I'm going to select this font and press Ctrl Alt Home. Let's go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and let's scale this size. Let's select this font and press Ctrl Alt Home. Okay, and now first thing first, we need to animate this text. So first of all, select this text and go to the paragraph menu and make sure that you are at center text. Okay, because we want center text only. Let's decrease the scale. Okay, now after that go to the animate and choose position first, and let's change the position downwards. Go to the range selector and create one keyframe at the start, then go somewhere around 1.15 frames and let's make this value somewhere around 100. Now select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure to choose edit speed graph. Select this graph by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. Okay, so obviously you will get this kind of animation. There is nothing new. Along with this, I'm going to choose add property and I'm going to choose tracking, and let's decrease the tracking amount over here. Similarly, add properties and choose opacity and we will reduce the opacity. So now if you see, we are getting this kind of animation. Now let's somewhere around after this, let's go first see this animation. Take a gap of few frames, then let's minimize this animator, select this text, go to the animate and choose this time tracking only. Okay, and we are going to create one keyframe at tracking amount, not this tracking type. Okay, go few frame forward and let's increase the create this text. Go few frame, create one keyframe, then go after few frame forwards over here, select this first keyframe, hit Ctrl C Ctrl V like that, then select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So if you see this, now we'll get this, then this and then this. Okay, let's hit U first this. Now let's select those keyframes and let's try to bring this somewhere around over here like that. Then select those keyframes, let's bring this over here. Okay, so if you see this entire animation, we'll get this and then this. Now along with this, what we can do over here is let's select this creative word and let's change the color of this one to yellow and hit Ctrl D and change the color of this one to pink. Now let's try to bring this downwards over here and press S and let's decrease the scale of it and let's try to bring this over here. Then select this, hit Ctrl D, let's try to bring this over here, press S and let's increase the scale of this like this. Okay, now let's enable this and this icon. Select this text over here and go to the rectangle tool, and we are going to create this kind of, or let's try to create somewhere around from this. Okay, like this text. Okay, then for this one select this, let's increase the scale little bit and let's create something around like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we are getting something like this. Okay, but over here one problem is that we need to increase this mask size. So let's select this and let's bring this over here. Similarly, bring this over here. Same for this one. Select this, let's bring this over here, and let's bring this over here. Okay, like this. Then select these two, hit Ctrl D, and let's try to bring this downwards. Select this one and let's try to bring this over here like this. Okay, and press M and let's delete this, and let's try to bring this over here like that. Select this and try to create one mask along like this. Okay, then select this one. Let's try to bring this over here. Press M and let's delete this. Okay, bring this over here. Then select this and let's move this over here like this. Okay, now after this, hit U and press M over here. Hit M so we can see all the mask options, and let's add 10 mask feathers to each and every one. Select this one as well, go inside this and add 10 mask feathers and hit U to minimize it. Select this as well, hit M, go to the mask properties and let's choose 10. Also go to the mask one and let's choose 10. Okay, so now if you see this animation, we are getting this kind of stuff over here. Okay, now if you want, then you can adjust their position a little bit downward, as well as from not this one but this one. Okay, over here. Now select these two layers, which are this one. Go to the not two but four layers. Go to the character, choose black color. In stroke, add white color stroke. Okay, and now let's go somewhere around 5 seconds. Let's select these two, move this over here and move this over here. Go over here, select this, move this over here and move this over here. Okay, and we'll get something like this. First we'll get this, we'll get this. Now after this, I'm going to select, right click, new, and create one null object. Select all of these layers and I'll make it apparent with this null. Okay, and let's disable this all options. And now we have to choose this moving ideas turn truly to creative text. So let's see which font we choose. We choose this font. I'll copy this font. I'm going to select this text layer and I'll hit Ctrl V to paste it, and I'm going to choose, let's select this. We need regular version of this font, so let's select this, go over here and we have to choose regular. Go to the align tab, align horizontally, and press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around like this. Okay, let's scale it like this. Now let's enable this text and go to the mask options, and we are going to mask this creative word and choose inverted mask. Okay, like that over here. Now we will select this creative text and I'm going to select this animator one and I'll hit Ctrl C to copy. Then select this text over here and I'll hit Ctrl V, and let's go inside this text animator one, and over here range selector advanced, and we are going to choose words. So if you see this now, we are getting something like this. But over here, if you see, we don't want this tracking. So what we can do is that we will delete this tracking amount, or we can make this tracking amount 0. Okay, so we will get only this animations. Now I want this animation should be after this text. Okay, so let's select this null object, press S, create one keyframe, then press P for position, create one keyframe and hit U. Let's go somewhere around 5 seconds and let's decrease the scale of it somewhere around like this, and let's move this over here. Then change the position of this one somewhere around over here like that. Okay, similarly select this text and this null object and try to adjust the position properly like this. Okay, as well this null object. So if you see, we are getting something like that. Similarly, at the same point, I'm going to select these two text. I'll press P for position to create one keyframe. Select these two text as well. Press P for position, create one keyframe. As well as select these four layers and press T for opacity to create another keyframes. Now hit U. Let's go somewhere around at this point. I'm going to select this text over here, which is this one. I'll bring this at the center. Select this. I'll bring this at the center, select this, I'll bring this at the center, select this, I'll bring this as well as the center. Then select these two layers, let's change the opacity to 0, select these two layers and bring the opacity to 0. Okay, and hit U, select this yellow color layer and we need to bring this at the top. Now I'm going to select this null object, hit U so we can see this keyframe. I'm going to select this 4 layer and I'm going to press P for position, as well as I'm going to press Shift T so I can see only opacity keyframes. Now we have this keyframes, select those keyframes and hit F9 to ease in ease out. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding Shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Okay, and let's make this fit. So now if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Now let's see this moving text over here, which is this one. It should be start to getting animated somewhere around at this point. Okay, when this creative word is over here, I want this text should start to get animated like this. Okay, and when you reach the final point, which is at this time, I mean around 5 seconds, you need to select this text layer, and in parenting you have to make it a parent with this null object. Okay, so what will happen, along with this you will get this animation. Okay, and you can try to bring this animation somewhere around at this point, and you can hit U, you can move this keyframe a little bit over here so the last one will get animated a little bit easily. Or instead of that, what you can do, let's enable this layer and hit M, and we can delete this mask. Along with that, we can delete this creative word as well. Okay, and then we can adjust the position of this over here. Okay, and hit U. So now you can see we are getting this animation, but along with this we are getting this text as well. Now after this, press Ctrl Y to create one black background, bring this at the downwards, and now if you see, first we will get this and then we are gonna get this. Okay, and hit N, then right click new and create one adjustment layer, and just like always we do, we can easily apply tint effect and we can swap these colors the way we want. So as you guys can see, this is how we can create this kind of creative text animation. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920, height I'm going to choose 180, frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute long, and background color we are going to choose black color for now, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title save action. Now for this animation we need two things. First we need a logo, as well as we need a PNG image of that shoe. So we will get this Nike logo from this website. I'll provide all the link in the description. All you need to do is simply download it. Then I'm going to choose this shoe over here from Nike's official website. You can simply take a screenshot, or you, if you can download this image, you can download this image, and then you need to convert it into PNG without background. So either you can do it in Photoshop, otherwise you can go to this website called photoroom.com. Over here all you need to do is simply drag and drop your image over here, and then it will give you a PNG image of that without background. Okay, so I'll provide all the links of this three website in the description. Okay, so with those websites I got one PNG image of Nike logo which is in black color, that's why you cannot see over here, and we will get this image of shoe. Okay, so now let's try to animate our text first. So let's try with the tagline just do it. So I'm going to type just do it. Okay, so let's select this text and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that text at the center. Then go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around like this. Okay, now after this let's select this layer, and now let's decrease the scale a little bit. Okay, this looks good to me. And now we will try to animate this text, but before we animate it, make sure to go to the paragraph, and we need to choose center text, not left align text. So choose center text and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, and then go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now we will go to the animate options and we are going to choose positions, and let's bring this position downwards. Go to the range selector, create one keyframe at start, go somewhere around 1.15 frames, and let's make this value 100. Then go to the add menu, property, and choose tracking, and let's decrease this tracking value to -30. So if you see over here, we are gonna get this kind of animation. Then go to the add property and choose opacity as well. Then select this layer and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. If your graph is not looking like this, simply right click and make sure to choose edit speed graph. Okay, then follow this procedure. Now let's go to the start. We are getting this kind of animation, and let's make this opacity somewhere around 20, or let's make this 0 only. Okay, so if you see this animation, we are gonna get something like this. Now after this let's go over here up to 1 second. Let's go inside this, let's minimize this text and minimize this transform. Select this text, go to the animate, and we are going to choose tracking. Okay, so we have animator 1 and animator 2, and in animator 2 we have this tracking. Let's increase this tracking value little bit like that. So if you see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now somewhere around over here, hit U. Before this last keyframe over here, let's go inside this animator 2, create one keyframe at tracking, go around 2 seconds, and let's make this value little bit over here to not -4, but let's choose -2. Okay, select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So if you see this, now first we will get this and then we will get this. Okay, so now we need to create multiple copies of it. So let's select this and press P for position over here. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, press P, and in Y position we are going to type 150, or I think we need to add 200. So let's go over here and plus 200 over here. Again hit Ctrl D, press P. Let's go add plus 200 like this. Then select this third layer, hit Ctrl D, select this fourth layer. Let's go and type -200. Select this, hit Ctrl D, select this fifth one, and let's type -200. Okay, so we are having this four, not four but five. Now let's go and take a distance of 5 frames, except for this third one. I'm going to select this second and fourth, and with the help of open square bracket, move this over here. Let's go over here, select these two layers, and with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move them over here. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Now after this, we need some scaling animation. So right click new and create one null object. Select all of them and let's make them a parent with this null object. Okay, let's go to the start, press S, let's make this value 120 to create one keyframe. Go few frame forward, somewhere around up to 5 frames, let's say. Let's make this value 100. So if you see this, along with this, we are getting a little bit scaling animation over here. So let's select all of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to call it as text01. Okay, so we have this text over here like that. Now let's go to the main animation, and we are going to bring our shoe image over here, which is this one. Let's try to bring this over here like that, and press R for rotation, and let's rotate it like this. Okay, now let's select this, go over here, press P for position to create one keyframe, then press R for rotation to create another keyframe. Hit U. Let's go somewhere around 2 seconds. Let's create one keyframe. Then go to the start. Let's rotate it like this, and let's move this over here. Let's select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, select this by holding shift. Let's move this over here. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this. So somewhere around at this point over here, let's select this text, hit Ctrl D, and let's bring them at the top. Hit enter, and let's call it as mask, and change the color of this one to yellow. Select this and choose alpha mask. So now if you see, along with this, we are gonna get this animation. Now I want this animation should start somewhere around at this point, so I'll move this over here. Okay, or let's move this somewhere around at this point. Okay, now hit U. It should go outwards at this point, so I'm going to move this over here like that. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph, and let's hit F9. Select this by holding shift, move this over here like that. Okay, over here. So we'll get this. Now at this point, I'm going to select this shoe. I'll hit Ctrl D, press F4, hit Ctrl D again, and let's remove this track, and let's delete this first layer. Then select this shoe, and with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here, so it should come somewhere around at this point when this shoe is gone. Okay, now after that, I'm going to select this shoe. I'm gonna go in effect and presets panel, and I'm going to search for tint effect and double click to apply. So we will get this black effect over here like this. Now select this shoe, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring this downwards, and let's delete this tracking. We don't need that. Select this, press T for opacity, and let's try to decrease the opacity somewhere around over here like this. Okay, so as you guys can see, we are gonna get something like this over here. Or you can increase this opacity a little bit, and if you hide this tint effect, you are gonna get something like this. Okay, but we'll keep that tint effect. Or rather than that, if you don't want to reduce the opacity, you can select this layer. You can go to the effect and presets panel and search for curves and double click to apply, and all you need to do is simply bring this downwards like this. Okay, so you are gonna get this kind of effect over here like this. It totally depends on you how you want to add. I'm gonna bring it over here. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this, and I think at this point it's just going but not rotating. So what we can do, I'm going to select these two, hit U, because we have this layer over here as well. We need to rotate it at this point like that. Okay, and when it's going outwards like this, I want it should be completely gone. So I'm going to press T for opacity and create one keyframe and go few frame forward, and let's remove the opacity of it. Okay, so we'll get something like this, and select this and let's hit F9. Okay, now we will get this, and then we are gonna get this. Okay, now let's select this, hit U somewhere around at this point. Okay, I'm going to select this shoe over here, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply. and let's increase the distance somewhere around like this. Okay, and increase the softness to 200. Okay, so if you see this now, first we'll get this, then this, and then this. Okay, if you want, you can bring this a little bit over here as well. Now somewhere around at this point, I'm going to press S, create one keyframe, hit U, go somewhere around over here. I don't want this to be gone, so let's delete this keyframe. And somewhere around over here, I'm going to reduce the size of it somewhere around like this. Select this and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this by holding shift. Let's move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. Okay, so it should look like it's going downward. First this and then this. Okay, now let's select our text 01 and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and let's bring this at the top and right click, reveal layer in source project. Select this text 01 and hit Ctrl D, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Let's go inside this, select all of these layers, go to the character, and we are going to reduce this fill, and we are going to choose only white color. Then go to the main animation, and I'm going to bring this layer somewhere around at this point. Okay, over here. Let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay, then at this point over here, I'm going to simply create my ellipse by holding shift, press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option. Let's go somewhere around at this point over here. With the help of open square bracket, bring this over here. Initially it should be 0. Create one keyframe, go few frame forward, and let's make this value totally 100, not 100 but something like that. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. It should look like it's a blast or something like this. Okay, and it should happen behind this shoe. So let's move this over here like that, when this shoe is gonna touch this. Okay, let's select this shoe over here and this shoe image, and let's change this opacity of shadow to 20 like that. Okay, so if you see, we are getting something like this. Hit U. Let's try to bring this somewhere around over here. Okay, let's select this shoe, press S and try to adjust it somewhere around like this. Then select this shape layer, hit Ctrl D. Let's bring this a little bit over here. Go to the fill option. With the help of this picker, I'm going to pick up this color over here. Again, select this layer, hit Ctrl D. Let's bring this at the top, and I'm going to move this over here like this. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of poppy effect over here. Now after this, I want my Nike logo should start to appear over here. So hit Ctrl 0. I'm going to bring my Nike logo. Let's press S and let's move this over here like that. Okay, let's select this and press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as logo reveal, and move all attributes into new composition and hit OK. And with the help of open square bracket, I am going to bring this over here. Then select this shape layer, which is this one, this white one. Hit Ctrl D and let's try to bring this at the top and choose alpha mask. Okay, so we are gonna get something like this. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this shoe over here, hit U and make sure that you are at this point. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, hold Alt, open square bracket to trim up to this, hit U, and we are going to delete all of those keyframes. I'm going to select this, hit Ctrl X, go inside this logo reveal, hit Ctrl V to paste it, bring this over here. Okay, now in this composition, I'll hit Ctrl K and I'm going to change the background to white. Select this logo and choose alpha mask, so we are gonna get something like this. Or select this shoe, bring this downwards and choose logo and choose alpha mask like that. So if you see this, now we are gonna get something like this. Then select this shoe and press S and let's increase the size, so we'll get the reveal of this logo. And I want this to get animated, so press P for position to create one keyframe over here. Let's go somewhere around 4 seconds and let's move this from here to here like that. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Then select this Nike logo, hit Ctrl D, enable this logo. Let's move this over here with the help of open square bracket. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for linear wipe effect and double click to apply. Hit U, so you will get that revealing animation. And let's just rotate this angle as well as rotate, increase the feathers, so you will get this revealing effect. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Now right click new and create one null object. Select all of these layers and we will make it a parent with this null object. Then select this null object, press S, initial scale should be 115, create one keyframe, then go somewhere around 6 seconds and let's make this value 100. So we will get this kind of reveal. Then select this Nike logo, go to the effect and presets panel and search for light sweep effect and double click to apply. And let's bring this light initially over here, create one keyframe at the center, hit U, and let's go to around 5 seconds and let's bring this light from here to here. So you're gonna get this kind of light sweep effect as well. And if you want, you can increase the width of this and you can increase the edge intensity like that. Okay, over here. So now if you see this stuff over here, we'll get this kind of stuff. And you can select this text layer, hit Ctrl D to bring this at the top, and you can try to bring this over here for a while like this. And then when this logo starts to appear, press T for opacity, create one keyframe, go few frame forward and let's make this 0. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is how you will get the reveal. Then somewhere around at 10 seconds I'm going to hit N. So now if you see this animation from the start, I'm gonna get first this, then I'll get this, and then we'll get this kind of stuff over here. Okay, now if you want just addition, you can select this text, hit Ctrl D, go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill effect and choose this red color over here, which is this one. Okay, try to bring this after this shoe over here and select this white color text a little bit over here later like this. Okay, and I'm going to select this red one, which is this one, I'm guessing. Let's bring this after the shoe, press S and let's increase the scale of this, press T for opacity, and at this point I'm going to choose the opacity of this one to only 10 over here, just for the look over there. Okay, like this. So now if you see this, first I'm gonna get this, then I'm gonna get this. Okay, like that. Now just to add a little bit of fun stuff, I'm going to right click over here, new, and I'm going to add one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for magnify effect and double click to apply, and select the center over here like this, and let's increase the size of this. Okay, over here. Okay, let's select this and let's try to bring this somewhere around at this point. Okay, over here, hit Ctrl D, select this center and let's try to bring one over here as well. Okay, just for the fun. So if you see, we are gonna get this extra glitch effect. And let's select this, create one keyframe at the center, hit U, go somewhere around over here At this point, it should go from here to here like that. Okay, similarly for this one, let's create one keyframe at the center, hit U, go over here, it should go from here to here like that. Okay, like this, and press Ctrl Y to create one solid background at the back. Okay, so if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, now at this point over here, somewhere around at this point, select this, press T, create one keyframe, go few frame forward. Let's make this gone, hold Alt, close square bracket. Okay, like this. So as you guys can see, we are gonna get something like this effect. Okay, along with that, if you want to just add another addition, simply right click new and create one adjustment layer, and you can apply noise effect just to give the vintage look to this animation. You can increase the noise little bit, it's totally up to you. I'm going to add this noise just for this portion over here for this white background. Let's increase this noise so it will give a greeny texture. Then I'm going to create one amount keyframe over here, hit U, go few frame forward, and let's make this value 0. Okay, so in additional start, I want noise only, and after that it will be gone. Okay, so as you guys can see, with the help of few effects and few keyframes, we have created this kind of logo reveal animation. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we will call it as main animation as we always do. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, duration up to 1 minute, and background color I am going to choose black color and simply hit OK. Go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to select my logo and I'll bring this over here. Now this logo is in a PNG format and it is in black color. So I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'll search for fill effect and double click to apply and change the color of this logo to white and hit OK. Then press S for scaling option and let's scale it at appropriate size somewhere around like this. Now I'm going to select my pen tool. Then from here to here, I'm going to create one line and let's make this fit. Select this line and let's change the color of this one to white and let's increase the stroke to 5. Now select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then press P for position and let's change this position somewhere around over here and let's make this 650. Okay. Now select this line and hit Ctrl D, press P for position and over here in this I am going to add 200. Then again select this and hit Ctrl D, press P, again add a plus 200. Select this, hit Ctrl D, press P, again let's add plus 200 value in it. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of stuff. Now simply select all these lines and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and bring them at the top and change the color of this one to yellow. Then right click new and create one null object. Select all the yellow color layers and make it a parent with this null. Select this null, press R for rotation and we are going to rotate it on 90-degree and then press S for scaling option. Unlink this and let's increase the scale on this axis like that. Okay, and let's hit U and we are going to delete this null object. Now as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of squares in between all of this. So now let's select all of this and let's lock this layer. I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I don't want any stroke, so I'll delete this stroke and zoom in. I'm going to create from here to here. I want one rectangle, I mean square. So let's hide this logo for now and let's try to create some shape. So I'm going to click over here and by holding shift, I'm going to create one rectangle which should come over here like that. Then press Ctrl Alt Home and let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay. Now let's hit enter and let's call it as 01 and press P for position. And let's make this 750 like proper value like this. Okay, over here. Now hit Control D to duplicate, press P, and let's try to add plus 200 in it so we can check out whether it is in proper position. Yes, it is. So hit Control D again, press P, again add plus 200. Hit Control D, press P, go over here, again add plus 200. Okay, like that. Oops, I think we don't need the fourth one, so let's delete it. Okay, now I'm going to select these two and hit Control D to duplicate it, not two but three, and bring them at the top. Then right click new and create one null object. Select this uppermost three like 04, 05 and 06. Make it apparent with this null. Select this null, press P, and in Y position of this null, I am going to add plus 200. So it will come automatically downward. Select these upper three layers and hit Control D and bring them at the top. Select this sixth, fifth, and fourth, and let's remove this null object parenting. Select this null object, go to the position, and let's type plus 5, not 500, sorry, plus 200. Okay, and let's delete this null object. So now if you see over here, we have this kind of squares over here, 9 squares. Okay, these are gonna act like a mask to our object. Okay, so now let's try to create logo animation first. So let's enable this logo, and we need to create logo animation for this. So let's try to do it. We are going to create four kind of logo animations for this. So press P for position, create one keyframe, zoom in. Let's go somewhere around 1.5 seconds and create another keyframe. Then go to the start and let's move this over here like this. Okay. Select this, hit Control D to duplicate it, hit U. Let's delete this initial keyframe and let's bring this downwards. Again, select this, hit Control D, hit U. Let's delete this keyframe. Let's bring this over here. Select this, hit Control D, press P. Let's delete this keyframe. Let's move this over here. Okay, so now as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of four animations. Let's select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here. So obviously we are gonna get this kind of animation. Now I'm going to create mask for this. So let's try to bring one layer to this one. Let's select this 31st layer and bring this over here and choose alpha mask for this 01. Select this. Let's bring this up to 2 and let's choose alpha mask and let's choose. I think we don't need to see these layers over here. So I'm going to select these shape layers. I'll press F4 and I'm click on this shy option and I'll hide them. Okay. Then select this layer. Let's try to bring this up to 4. I think this one should be in alpha mask with this one. This one should be over here. Choose alpha mask. This one should be over here and choose alpha mask. Okay. So if you see this now, we are getting this kind of effect over here. Now I'm going to select this layer, hit Control D. Let's try to bring this over here. Then select this, hit Control D. Let's try to bring this over here. Select this third one, hit Control D. Let's try to bring this over here. Then select this fourth one, hit Control D. Let's try to bring this over here. Okay, like this. Let's find this, 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 and this. Okay. Now what? Let's hide this as well. We don't need to see. So now only last one is remaining. So select this first one, hit Control D, and let's try to bring this over here and choose alpha mask. Okay, like that. So now if you see this, we are getting this kind of revealing effect over here, like that. Okay. Even in that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a distance of 5 frames for each and every one, or you can hit page down button 2 to 3 times and select these layers and take a gap. Okay, so before that, I'm going to select this 01 and this MTV logo. I'm going to press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose this logo and 02, Ctrl Shift C and pre-compose. so it would be easy for us to adjust their differences. So I'm going to follow this procedure for all of these logos like that. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now hit page down button 2 to 3 times and adjust them accordingly. Okay. If you want, then you can adjust them alternately as well. I'm going to adjust it somewhere around like this. Okay, so if you see, we are gonna get this kind of stuff. Let's select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to call it as logo reveal. Now, select this, hit Ctrl D, take a distance of 5 frames like that. Again, take a distance of 5 frames, hit Ctrl D, move this over here, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. Okay, then hit Ctrl D and move this over here. Now select this fifth layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill. Select this fourth fill effect. Let's call it as green. Select this, apply fill layer. Let's call it as blue. Select this second layer and apply find edge effect and double click to apply and invert it like that. And last one, we are going to choose save. Okay. So if you see, we are getting this kind of reveal. Now, if you want, then you can decrease the gap between these layers like this, and let's this keep these gaps somewhere around like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we are gonna get this kind of reveal. Now let's disable this shine, and this is my logo reveal. So let's try to bring this over here. Now what I'm gonna do, I need animation for this one. So press S, unlink this, and let's decrease the scale. So create one keyframe initially, go to 1 second, create another keyframe, go to the start, let's make zero keyframe initially. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here like that. So we are gonna get something like this. Then select this keyframe, hit Ctrl C to copy, select all of this and hit Ctrl V. Then select this, press S, unlink this, create one keyframe initially, go over here, create another keyframe, and this time on this over here, we need to decrease this keyframe over 0. Select this and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this and move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this keyframe, hit Ctrl C, select this 3 and hit Ctrl V. So we are gonna get this kind of stuff. Okay. Now take a gap of 5 frames like that and try to adjust them like this. So if you see, we are gonna get this kind of animation, and I want this logo reveal should start somewhere around at this point over here like that, or you can start it somewhere around over here like this. Okay, then select all of this or select any one of those. Go to the select all of these layers and in search options search for stroke width. So it will give us the stroke width keyframes. Create one keyframe on each one like this. Then go few frame forward. Let's make this 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0 over here as well. Okay, over here I forgot to add keyframes. So let's hit Ctrl Z. Go over here, create one keyframe. Go over here. Let's make this value 0. Okay, so we are getting this kind of stuff. Now let's select those stroke keyframes and let's hit F9. Go to the graph. Select this. Zoom in. Shift hold, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. Now let's adjust this keyframes somewhere around like this. Let's take a gap between these keyframes. like this. Okay. So now if you see, we are gonna get this kind of animation and then this. Now right click new and create one null object. Select all of them and make it a parent with this null. Select this null and press S for scaling option. Initially it should be 120. Create one keyframe, and as the animation goes further, I want it should be 100, and I'll hit N over here. So as you guys can see, along with this, we are gonna get this scaling animation as well. Then press P for position, Alt click on this stopwatch, and let's apply wiggle 3,3 like this. Okay. Now after this, I'm going to press Control Y to create one grayish color look. Not too much, but a little bit only, and hit OK. And let's try to bring this downwards like this. Now select this, go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC windshield effect and double click to apply. So you will get the black borders on this. Then right click new and create one adjustment layer and go to the effect and presets panel, and I want to give this animation quite a vintage look, so apply noise texture, not noise texture but noise and grain effect, and let's make this value 25 like this. So what will happen, we will get this noise effect over here like this. Okay. Then need this animation to be in kind of a cartoonish look, so you can apply posterized time effect as well, which is this one. Apply, and you can choose frame rate to like 15 or something, so you will get that 2D kind of look over here like that. Okay, so you will get something like this. Along with that, I'm going to right click new and create one adjustment layer again, and this time I'm going to search for CC lens effect and double click to apply. So we'll get this distorted effect, and let's try to increase the size of this to somewhere around like this. Okay, and we need to bring this downwards, this effect. Okay, like that. So now if you see this animation, first we will get this and then we will get this. Okay. So this is how you can create this kind of effect over here like this. So yep, this is how you can create this kind of logo reveal animation inside of After Effects. Okay, so in this video, we are going to create some pizza related motion graphics for the restaurant. And I have this four free pick files that we are going to use. I provide the link of these files in the description, so you can download it from there and you can practice along with this tutorial. So first we need this pizza image, then we need this pizza illustration, then we need one background texture, and we need this hand gestures. So first thing first, we need this pizza vector file. So I have already opened it over here. After downloading, you will get this kind of file. Then you will get this kind of hand as well. Okay. And I have created our main file which we need to animate. So I have created one extra file over here. Height and width of this is 1920 by 180 and it is in RGB mode. So first thing first, let's select this pizza and hit Ctrl C to copy. Go to this our vector file and press Ctrl V to paste it. Press E and let's try to increase the size. Now what we need over here, we need these toppings each and every layer. So let's select this, right click, and we are going to choose ungroup. Then right click and let's go inside this over here. As you guys can see, we are getting all of this on separated layer. So simply click on this, click to target, go over here and choose release to layer sequence. Select all of this and by holding shift, let's try to bring this at the top. Okay, so now we have each and every portion properly on the separated layer, out of which I'm going to hide all of this other stuff over here, which are this one. Okay, and in this over here we don't need this extra stuff, so I'm gonna go inside this and I'm going to delete this portion. We don't need that. Okay, we need only this. And let's enable all of this toppings. So we are gonna get this kind of pizza. Okay, now let's save this file. Now out of this we need this hand as well. Out of all of this, I'm going to pick up this one. So select this, hit Control C to copy, go over here, and I'm going to bring this at the top, create new layer and press Ctrl V, hit E, and let's try to increase the size of this head. Then press A and select this much area over here, like this one, and try to bring this like this just to increase the size of this head. Okay, and let's bring this over here and let's save this file. Okay, then I'm going to download this image over here as well as this background texture. I have already downloaded it. Okay, then I'm gonna go and open this image in a Photoshop, and I have already traced this image with the help of pen tool, and I have removed this background, and I got this pizza illustration over here, not illustration but image. Okay, so I'll save this file as well. Then we'll go to the Adobe After Effects. We'll create a new composition, and I'm going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, duration around 1 minute, and background color, let's choose white color and hit OK. Go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on titles section. Now first thing first, we will import our background image. So hit Control I to import our BG, which is this image. So let's go and import it over here like that, and let's try to bring this over here. Then press S for scaling option and let's scale this size. I'm going to press R and I want to rotate it on -90 degree like that, and let's increase the size. Let's select this and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose it. Move all attributes into the new composition, and I'm going to call it as second animation, which is our text animation and etc. Let's change the spelling over here and hit OK. Let's go inside this. Now I'm going to press Ctrl I again, and I'm going to select my Photoshop file footage. Make sure to composition, return layer sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. Let's double click to open this, and I'm going to select this pizza, which is this one over here, which I have separated. So select this, hit Control C, go to the second animation and hit Control V, press S, then let's scale this, and let's try to move this over here, hit W, and let's rotate it like this over here. Again, select this, hit Control D, press R, and let's rotate it like this, and let's move this over here and press S, and let's increase the scale over here, and then select this pizza and try to bring this over here like this over here. Okay, now after this, select this second pizza, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply. And not drop shadow, but let's choose Gaussian blur, and let's double click to open this, and let's increase this value a little bit like that. Okay, then select this, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and increase the softness, increase the distance like this. Let's move this over here, and let's make this softness to 250 and increase the distance, and let's change the opacity to 25. Then select this drop shadow, hit Ctrl C, select this second layer and hit Ctrl V like this. Now after this, I'm going to select my ellipse tool, and by holding shift, I'm going to create one ellipse. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Hit U. Let's select this and try to bring this downwards. Press S and let's increase the scale, and go to the blending mode and try to choose somewhere around overlay or something, or let's choose multiply, etc. Let's see which one is suitable. I think multiply is good, or you can choose darken as well. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna stick with darken, and you can bring it wherever you want. You can bring it over here as well. It's totally up to you, the way you want to adjust it. I'm going to bring this somewhere around over here like this. Okay, then I have this text. I'm going to type today's special offer, hit Control T, and let's enable our text tool, and I'm going to type text over here, and let's remove this. I'm going to add this today's special pizza. Let's select this and choose italic version. Select this today's, and let's increase the size, and let's try to adjust it. Let's remove this special pizza. I'm going to select this today's first, hit Control Alt Home, press S, and let's increase the size like this, and hit Control D to duplicate it. I'm going to type this special text, select this and special, and let's try to bring this over here like this. I'm going to select this two over here, and let's try to bring this after this special word like this. Okay, if you want, you can change the size of this text as well. I'm going to change text style over here. Select the special word, and let's try to choose something different font. Okay, I'm going to move it over here. Now, after this, I want to add this pizza text as well. So I'm going to select this pizza text, and I'm going to press Control T, and I'm going to type pizza word. Let's select this word and press Control Alt Home. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and scale this size like this, and try to bring this over here like that. Press S for scaling option and scale it, and try to bring this text after all of this. And go to the character menu, and let's delete this. And let's try to bring this over here like this. Okay. And if you want, then you can choose this color over here as well. You can try to bring this over here, but I'm going to stick with the white color. Press S and try to adjust it somewhere around over here like this. Okay. And then over here you can type your logo. I'm not going to add any logo. I'm just trying to add your logo word over here. So type your logo. You can whatever logo you add, whatever logo you want. I'm going to type simply your logo over here like this. Okay. Now we need to add something like special offer or something. Then you can add this text over here. So for that, I'm going to select this, and by holding shift, I'm going to create one white color text over here. So let's select this and press Control Alt Home, and let's try to bring this over here. Select this, hit Control D, press S, and let's decrease the scale like this. Zoom in, and let's move this over here and change the color of this one to black. Okay, like this. Or instead of that, you can press F4. You can select this, which is this one, and you can choose alpha inverted mask. So you will get something like this. And then you can select this layer and make it apparent with this uppermost layer, which is this one. Okay, and then you can type over here is 25% off over here, and hit Control T and type 25% off. And let's try to bring this text over here. Press S and let's scale the size. Okay, and change the color of this one to red one as well, and also make this parent with this one. Okay, which is this one. So if you rotate this, we will get this stuff over here. Also change this color to red. Okay, so this is our second animation layer. So now we need to animate this stuff, so let's try to do it. First thing first, I want this background should start to get animated. So press S, initially create one keyframe, then go somewhere around 1 second or 1.15 frames to create another keyframe. Go to the start and let's make this value 0. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So we will get something like this. Then we need this word pizza should start to get animated. So let's enable this icon, hit Ctrl K to open the project settings and change the color of this one to black, and go to the pizza, go to the animate, and we are going to choose position and bring this position downwards. Go to the range selector, create one keyframe at start, go to around over here and let's make this value 100. Okay, then go to the character paragraph, make sure that you are center text, and then go to the add menu property and choose tracking. Let's change this tracking to over here. Go to the add property and choose opacity, and let's make this opacity 0. So we'll get something like this. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, shift hold, move this one handle over here and one handle over here. So we will get something like this. Then select this animator one and hit Ctrl C to copy. Let's minimize it and disable this. Select all the text over here, including this one, and hit Ctrl V to paste that effect. So we are gonna get this kind of text animation. Then we have this pizzas. So press P for position to create one keyframe. Press R for rotation to create another keyframe. Hit U, go over here, create another keyframes over here. Go to the start. Let's rotate it like this and let's rotate it like this. Select both of them and try to bring them downward. Select those keyframes, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here. So we will get something like this. And this animation should start somewhere around from here. And this one should be over here. And this pizza text should start to animate over here. Then this to race. And then this special. Okay. So if you see, we will get something like this. If you want, you can bring them a little bit early as well. Okay. Then I want this thing should start to happen. So press S for scaling option, create one keyframe, go few frame forward, create another keyframe. Initially it should be 0 over here. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph, shift hold, move this handle over here. So we'll get something like this. And I want all of this animation should start at this point. Okay. Now there should be some motion in this. So let's select those two pizzas, go to the effect and presets panel and search for wiggle position effect and double click to apply. So what will happen? You will get this animation for this pizzas over here. Along with that, I don't want this BG should be steady. So I'm going to bring this downwards a little bit to create one keyframe at position. Go to somewhere around 6 seconds and let's move this from here to here. Okay, like that. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of animation over here. So this is the second part of this animation, which was important in terms of designs. Now first part is important in terms of animations. So let's try to do it now. Okay, so we have successfully created our second part of animation. Now let's try to focus on first part. So hit Control N and let's call it as first animation and hit OK. Now let's close this. Hit Control 0 and we are going to bring our BG over here. Same, press R for rotation, rotate it on -90 degree, press S and let's decrease the scale. Now let's save this file. and press Ctrl I, and I'm going to select my pizza illustration footage, composition, return layer sizes. Simply hit import like this. Okay, it will take some time to import because this has a lot of stuff, and let's try to bring this over here. So yeah, after importing this, as you can see, this is taking a lot of time to import. So let's just wait for it. Okay, now let's go inside this and let's try to select all of this stuff. Let's bring this hand over here just for now. Select this and let's try to bring this properly over here. Now basically we need to try to animate each and every one stuff. So this is our base of pizza, which is this one. So it should be over here. So let's select this and let's try to animate this first. So press P for position to create one keyframe. Then press R for rotation to create another keyframe. Hit U like this. And let's go somewhere around 1 second. Create another keyframe. Go to the start and let's make this value 90 degree, or let's make this 180 degree, and let's try to move this from here. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here. So we'll get this kind of rotation. Now we need these toppings to happen over here. So let's select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as toppings. Let's go inside this over here. Select this pizza layer, which is this base. Hit Control C. Go over here and hit Control V. This is just for our reference, and I'm going to bring this over here like this. Okay, what is over here? I think it's two times maybe. Okay, let's delete this hand. I think this layer is hand. We don't need this over here. So I'm going to bring this over here, hit enter, and let's call it as hand. Okay, let's go inside this topping. And as I said, this layer is just for our reference. Okay, let's delete this. We don't need the keyframes. And now I'm going to press F4. I'll convert all of these layers into 3D layers. Okay, then I'm going to right click new, and I'm going to add one camera, and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, then select this and press P for position. And if I change the Z position, as you guys can see, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this and hit double A, and I'm going to enable depth of field over here, and aperture value I'm going to choose 100, as well as blur value 200. Okay, like that. So as you guys can see, we can easily see this, but when I'm going to select this topping, and if I change the Z position over here, as you guys can see, it looks like it's getting blurry because it's coming towards the camera. Okay, so this is what we need to do. We need to animate the Z position of each and every one. So if you see, select all of these layers, and if you hit P as over here, as you guys can see, the Z position of each and every one is 0, basically, which means that you can apply this keyframes to all of them. So let's animate anything which is first, which is this one. So let's create one keyframe, then go to around 1 second to create another keyframe, then go to the start, and initially let's change the position of this one in a negative value in such a way that it should go out of this camera view. Okay, like that. So I'm going to make this minus 2500 and select those keyframe, and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here. So if you see, we are gonna get this kind of animation. Let's try to bring this a little bit over here like this. Okay, and I can select this keyframe. I can hit Control C over here, but one problem is that if you are going to copy this, it will copy all of the position keyframes, so we don't want that. So what we can do, I can select this position, right click, and I can choose separate dimensions, and I don't need keyframes on Y and Z, so I'll delete this Y and Z keyframes. I mean X and Y keyframes. I want Z position keyframes, and I need to select the positions of all of these layers. So let's try to select the positions of each and every layer by holding shift. You have to do this procedure, otherwise it's not gonna get selected. Okay, simply right click and choose separate dimension for each and every one. Okay, so we have this. Now all you need to do, simply copy this Z position keyframe of this layer and hit Ctrl C and select all of these layers over here. And if you hit Ctrl V to paste it, it's not gonna happen. If it's, I think it's happened. That's miracle. So if you see this now, we have applied the Z position keyframe on each and every one, and we are gonna get this kind of animation over here. If you see, okay, let's make this quarter resolution so it would be easy for us to see like that. I'm going to select those keyframes over here like this, and let's hit F9 to ease those keyframe. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, I'm going to move this handle over here like this. Okay, like this. And I want this animation should be not all at the time, but one by one. So let's hit U, select all of these keyframes, and I'm going to hit page down button 2 to 3 times. Hold Alt, close square bracket, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit OK, zoom in, and let's try to increase the size. So we are gonna get this kind of toppings animation. But this animation is quite slow. So let's go to the start, hit page down button only one time and hold Alt, close square bracket, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit OK. Okay, and let's increase the size of this. Okay, so now if you see, we are gonna get this kind of topping animation over here like that. But if you see over here, we are getting this weird kind of stuff because we have started this animation from wrong direction, because we need to start this from bottom. So select this bottom layer first, and then by holding shift, select this top layer, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit OK. And now we are not gonna get that error. So let's increase the size. And now if you see, we will get this proper animation. Okay, like this. Now let's select let's delete this bottom layer, we don't need this. Okay, and in pizza layer, if you see this now, we are getting something like this. And when has arrived over here, let's make this fit. I'm going to select this and I'll move this over here. I want this animation should start over here, this point. Okay, first this and then this. I want this animation to be a little faster, so go to the time stretch and I'm going to make this value 80. Okay, so it would be a little bit faster like this. And then I'm going to select these two layers and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift C and I'm going to call it as pizza and hit OK like that. Okay, then I'm going to select this and I'll press R for rotation. I'll create one keyframe. I'll go somewhere around over here and I'm going to rotate it on 360-degree. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So we will get this rotation kind of stuff. And I think instead of 360, I'm going to make this 4 rotations, so it will be a little bit faster. So at this time, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go inside this. I'll select this toppings. I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'm going to search for drop shadow effect and I'll double click to apply. And I'm going to increase the distance. And this time I'm going to change the color of this one to yellow. Not yellow, but darkish orange kind of stuff. And hit OK. And let's increase the distance as well as increase the opacity. Okay, so go to this pizza. At this point, I don't want any opacity, so let's make this value 0 and create one keyframe. Then when this rotation completes, I want this animation to get 100. Okay, like this. Along with that, I'm gonna go inside this, right click, new, and I'm going to create one adjustment layer. I'll go to the search option and I'm going to search for brightness Let's create one keyframe at contrast and one keyframe at brightness. Hit U, go over here. I'm going to increase the brightness and let's increase the contrast a little bit, and let's decrease the brightness little bit. Okay, so we are gonna get these two options over here. Okay, so it gives a illusion like it's got cooked like this. Okay, then after this, I want this to get cut it down. So let's select this and press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer. Hit U and we are going to delete this keyframe. We don't need that. Okay. Then I may want this to get cut down in parts. So let's select this and I'm going to mask this layer. So press P for pen, not P, G for pen tool. Then from here to here, then from here to here, I'm going to create this kind of mask over here like this. Over here, select this, hit Control D, press M, then select this and let's try to bring this over here like this and zoom in. Let's press G over here and select this mask path and let's try to bring this over here. Select this, hit Control D, press M, select this, select this area. You can select the direct selection tool and select this much portion, and you can bring this from here to here like this. Select this much portion and let's try to bring this over here like this. Then select this, hit Control D, press M, select this mask path, select this area, and by holding Shift move this handle over here like this. Okay, so now we have this four parts of pizza. Now I want something like this hand should, grab these pizzas. So let's try to do it. I'm going to select this hand, hit W, and let's rotate it like this. Press S and let's scale the size. I'm gonna bring this over here. Hit Control D. Let's move this over here. Hit Control D. Let's rotate it like this. Hit Control D. Let's rotate it like this over here. So now I want animation like they are grabbing this pizza. So let's try to do it. Select all of this and with the help of open square bracket, move this over here. Let's try to adjust the position. Now select all of these pizzas, right click, time and choose freeze frame. So we are not going to get any extra animations if it's there. And now I'm going to select this hand, press P for position to create one keyframe. And I want the movement a little bit faster. So let's go over here to create another keyframe. And initially, let's select this hand, move this out of this compositions like this, over here, also like this. Okay, it goes. And then at this point, I'll hit Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, like this. Select those keyframe and hit F9. So now if you see this, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, then go to the graph editor, zoom in, select this by holding Shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So it will come fast and it will go slow. Okay, now this is the first, this hand is going to grab this pizza. So this one is going to grab this pizza. So let's try to bring this over here. This hand is going to grab this piece. So let's try to bring this over here. This one is going to grab this piece. So let's select this and try to bring this over here. And obviously last one is going to grab this pizza. Okay. So at this point, this one is gonna get grabbed by this one. So press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer and make it apparent with this hand. So it will go along with this. And if it's not going outside, move this hand a little bit over here. Same, this one, press Ctrl Shift D to split this, make it apparent with this hand, so it will get out. Select this hand, let's bring this a little bit over here. Select this, press Ctrl Shift D, make it apparent with this hand, go over here and let's move this over here. Select this, press Ctrl Shift D, make it apparent with this hand and bring this over here. So as you guys can see, we are gonna get one by one. Now there should be some difference between their timelines. So I'm going to take a gap of few frames. I'm going to select this and let's move this over here. Take a gap. I'm going to select this, move this over here. Not this one, but this one. Move this over here. Take a gap, select this and move this over here. Okay, like that. And let's go over here. Select this with the help of open square bracket, alt open square bracket, move up to this, alt open square bracket, trim up to this. Sorry, also over here, alt open square bracket, trim up to this. So we are gonna get something like this. So if you see this animation over here, let's make this fit. Hit U, we'll get this toppings kind of animation. Then we will get some cook kind of animation, and then it's gone. Then press F4, select all of them and enable the motion blur. So we will get some animations like this. Okay. And after this, it's gonna get cooked, and then it's gone. Okay. Then what we need to do, we will go to the main animation, hit Control 0, and let's bring our first animation comp over here like this. Let's bring this over here. Now, if you see, we will get this, then we will get this, then we will get this. Okay. Now let's go inside this. I'm going to select my shape tool. And in second animation, I think we have created this shape. So simply hit Control C, go to the first animation and hit Control V and try to bring this after this pizza. And I'm going to try to bring this over here like this. Hit Control D and let's try to bring this over here like this. And this one should be over here. Okay. Now select this uppermost layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply and increase the distance to 20, softness to 200, opacity to 25. Okay. So you will get something like this. Okay. Now right click new and create one null object. Select these shape layers, make it apparent with this null. Select this null, press R, Alt, click on this stopwatch and search for time star 80. So we will get the rotation of it. And just to reduce the rotation speed, I'm going to make this 10. Okay, like this. Similarly, I'm going to select this background and let's try to bring this over here. Press P for position, create one keyframe, go few frame forward. Let's move this from here to here. Okay, like this. So we will get this like this, and then we will get something like this. And go over here, select those keyframes, hit U, select those keyframe, hit Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, right click, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframes. Okay, and in second animation over here, we have this background. I'm going to search for linear wipe effect on it. So what will happen, it will give us a transition animation. Select those keyframe and hit F9 like this. Okay, so let's go to the main animation. First I want to run this animation and I want this animation to be a little bit faster. So right click, time stretch, and let's make this value 80. So it will make this animation a little bit faster. So first we need to run this animation. Then we need to run this animation, then this, and after this I want this second animation should get started over here. So let's go to this. like this, and then this. Okay, and hit N over here. So as you guys can see, this is how you can create this kind of restaurant motion graphic animation inside of After Effects. We are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition, and I'm going to call it as main animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate 30, duration 1 minute long, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Now I'm going to bring my Google PNG logo over here. Press S for scaling option, and let's try to reduce the scale of this logo. Okay, like this. Now let's bring the scale to 40. This would be awesome. And now I want each and every alphabet on separated layer. So for that I'm going to select my rectangle tool over here, which is this one, and select this not like that, but select this logo and create a mask on this G. Select this, hit Ctrl D, hit M and delete this mask. Then we are going to create mask on this O. Select this, hit Ctrl D, hit M, delete this mask. Then create mask for this O. Select this, hit Ctrl D, hit M, let's delete this mask. Select this G, hit Ctrl D, hit M, delete this mask. Select this L, hit Ctrl D, hit M, delete this mask, and select this E. Okay, now I have each and every alphabets on separated layer. Now what we need to do over here, I am going to select my ellipse and I'm going to delete that fill, and I'm going to choose black color for this stroke. Okay, and we need to create something similar structure for this, which is obviously a circle. So by holding shift I am going to create one ellipse. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Press V and try to adjust it over here. And now we have to increase the scale. So adjust the scale in such a way that it should cover this this over here. So let's make this fit, and obviously we don't need this black color, so I'm going to pick up this red color over here. So now it's time to animate this stuff. So let's select this and press P for position to create one keyframe. Also in search option, search for size and create another keyframe and hit U. So now let's go somewhere around 1 second. I'm going to select this and let's move this from here to here. Then go to around 2 second, let's move this from here to here. Around 3 second, let's move this from here to here. On 4, let's move this from here to here. And on 5 seconds, I'm gonna bring this align horizontally and align vertically. Then go to the start, let's go somewhere around at this point. Increase the size of this like that. Okay, then at this point again I'm going to increase the size of this. At this point I'm going to decrease the size a little bit. Also I'm going to change the position of this one somewhere around over here. At this point again I'm going to increase the size of this, and at this point I'm going to reduce the size to 100. Okay, so now along with this I want the animation in stroke as well. So let's go to the search option and let's search for stroke width and create one keyframe and hit U. Let's go somewhere around over here. Let's reduce the stroke. Let's go somewhere around over here. I'm going to increase the stroke over here. Let's reduce the stroke over here, increase the stroke again, and at this point I'm going to copy Ctrl C Ctrl V initial stroke, and somewhere around over here I want to increase the size of this somewhere around like this. Now I'm going to select all of this keyframe and I'm going to hit F9 to easy ease out those keyframe. Select all of this, select this. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. So now if you see this animation, we will get something like this. Okay, now after this we will get something like this. Now let's select all of this Google logo layers and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as logo. Okay, then select the shape layer, hit enter, and let's call it as stroke. Again hit Ctrl D, select the second layer, hit enter, and let's call it as mask. And over here in addition, I'll add fill. Okay, select this logo and let's call it as alpha mask. So now if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, then I'm gonna get something around over here like that. Then let's go inside this, except this one. I'm going to select this and this. Let's bring them at the top and press P for position to create one keyframe each, as well as R for rotation to create one keyframe each. Then go somewhere around 7. I'm gonna go select this and I'll try to move this over here. Select this, let's move this over here. Select this, let's move this over here. Move this over here and move this over here. Okay, similarly I'll add 2 rotations on each and every one, like this, only 2-degree rotations, like that. Then select those keyframes and I'm going to hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So we are gonna get something like this. Now I want this animation to be one by one, so let's go to the start and hit page down button around 2 to 3 times each, and let's move this over here, over here, over here. Okay, like that. So we will get something. If you see over here, we are gonna get something like this. Then go to the starts, hit Ctrl A to select all of them, and hold Alt open square bracket to trim up to this. Now if I go to the main animation, I'll get first this animation like this, then I'm gonna get something like this, and then I'll get this. Now at 7 seconds I'm going to hit N, and now after this I'm gonna get this animation again in a form of loop like this. Okay, so as you guys can see, this kind of animation, I can create my animation in the form of loop over here. Now let's select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as animation. Over here, let's go to the start. You can go to the effect and presets panel and you can search for effect called not Gaussian blur, but drop shadow over here, and let's double click to apply and increase the softness to 100, or let's say 200, distance to 20 or even more than that, and change the opacity to 20. So it will add some amount of depth in your animation like this, and we will get something like this. And change the color of this one to somewhere around this bluish color. Okay, like that. So as you guys can see, we will get this kind of animation. Now at the start, if you see over here, we are getting this quite glitch. So to get rid of it, what you can do, let's go to the start, create one keyframe at opacity, hit U, go few frame forward, create another keyframe, go to the start, initial opacity, let's make it 0, select those keyframe and hit F9 like that. Then hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V and bring these keyframes at the backward, right click, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframe. Okay, so with the help of that, it will help us to get rid of that small glitch which is happening at the end. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of looping animation. Okay, you can start this animation somewhere around at this point as well, over here. So I'm going to bring this over here and hit N over here like that. Okay, and you can go to the start, let's go over here and hit U over here in this keyframe. I want this animation should be start a little bit faster, so let's go over here, select those keyframe and let's hit F9, select this, and by holding shift I'm going to move this handle over here, so it will start a little bit faster. So if you see at the end like this. Okay, so we are gonna get something like this. Okay, and if you want, you can select this, you can press P, alt click on the stopwatch, apply wiggle and type 3,3. So along with this animation, you will get that wiggle effect for this animation as well. So yep, this is how you can create this kind of logo animation. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. width is 1920, height 180, frame rate 30, duration also 1 minute, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. Go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to select my text tool and I'm going to type my text over here, which is motion, and I don't want italic font, and I'm going to choose regular font over here and change the color of this to black. Select this text, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. I'm going to press S for scaling option and I'll scale the size. Then I'm going to select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'll lock this layer over here. Or let's select this second layer, go to the character menu and I'm going to choose red color for the reference and lock this layer. Now select this first text and let's remove this M. Select this, hit Ctrl D, let's type O over here, and let's move this over here like this. Hit Ctrl D and change this to T. Select this and let's try to move this over here. Hit Ctrl D and let's make this I. Select this and let's move this over here. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, change this to O. Select this and let's try to move this over here. Hit Ctrl D and let's call it as N. Select this and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, so now we have each and every alphabet. We will delete our reference layer, we don't need that. Select all of these and press Ctrl Alt Home to align their respective anchor points at the center like this. Then I'm going to hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and I'm going to bring them at the bottom and I'm going to change the color of them to yellow. Now select all of these uppermost alphabets and let's hide them. Now select all of these alphabets which are in yellow color and press P for position and select their positions by holding shift. I'm going to select them like that. Right click and choose separate dimensions. Create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Then go somewhere around 2 seconds. Create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Then go to the start and let's move this from here to here. Or instead of that, simply go to the align tab and try to choose align horizontally, so all will come at this center, and let's try to bring the X position over here. Then go somewhere around 1 second, create one keyframe at Y and like that. Then in middle over here I'm going to change this value, Y value only up to this. Then somewhere around in the middle I'm going to change the Y value over here like this. Okay, similarly over here as well, let's try to bring this over here. Now in search option, search for Y, so it will show us only Y position keyframes. Let's select those. I'm going to select this portion. I'll move this a little bit forward, then select those keyframes and we are going to hit F9 to easy ease those keyframe. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure to edit speed graph. Zoom in a little bit. Let's go to the start. Select this and by holding shift I'm going to move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here like that. Select this, bring this handle over here, this handle over here, and this handle over here. Similarly, select this, move this over here and try to move this over here. Okay, so if you see this now, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, but this is too basic, and after this we need a little bit bounce. So after this 10 frames I'm going to create one keyframe on Y again, and in the middle of this I'm going to bring this Y position a little bit upward. Then go to the graph editor, zoom in, select this and let's hit F9. Select this middle portion by holding shift, move this over here and move this over here, move this over here and move this over here. So we'll get small bounce over here. Now along with this I need rotation, so I'll press R for rotation to create one keyframe, hit U, and at this point I need to rotate it on -2 rotations, so I'm going to type -2 for each. Okay, so what we will get something like this. Okay, now hit U. Now what I want them is to animate one by one, so I'll take a distance of 5 frames for each. So I'll get something like that. So with the help of open square bracket, I can easily shift each and every one of them over here. So obviously we are gonna get something like this. Okay, now let's select all of these alphabets. I'll go to the character menu. I'm going to choose white color for them, and for the stroke I'm going to choose black color, and let's make this stroke weight to somewhere around 1 or 2. It's totally up to you. Okay, so we'll get this kind of text over here. Now I want there should be a one ball should drop on this text. So for that, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select my ellipse, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse. I'll delete the stroke, I don't need that stroke, and for the color choose black color like that. Select this and hit Ctrl Alt Home to align their anchor point to the center. Now this animation I want should start somewhere around at this point over here. So with the help of open square bracket, move this over here, press P, select create one keyframe, then go somewhere around over here, create another keyframe, and at the start let's try to bring this upward, and at this point it should touch the top portion. Select those position keyframes, let's hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here and this handle over here. So obviously we will get something like this. Okay, it's give us like falling animation stuff. Then select this, hit Ctrl D, hit U, click on this position word, so it will automatically select both of this keyframe, and try to move this over here like this, and deselect this, and then try to bring this downwards a little bit. Then select this, hit Ctrl D, hit U, select both the keyframes, try to bring this upward, deselect this, and let's try to bring this over here. Again hit Ctrl D, hit U, select this, try to bring this over here like this. Select this, hit Ctrl D, hit U, position, move this over here, deselect and try to bring this downwards. Select this, hit Ctrl D, hit U, select this, try to bring this over here like this. So obviously we are gonna get something like this. Now after this, what I want, there should be a scaling animation. So I'm going to select all these layers, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift D to split those layers, and hit U, and hit U to hide all of this. Then select these layers by holding Ctrl and hit U, and we are going to delete those keyframes, we don't need that. Then press S for scaling option to create one keyframe, go few frame forward, and let's increase the size of this till we will get something like this. Okay, then select those keyframes and we will hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here. Okay, so we will get something like that. Then select this graph again, select this portion, and by holding shift move this handle over here. Okay, like this. Now hit U, let's go over here, align that, select this M, enable this M over here, bring this over here, with the help of open square bracket move this over here and change the color to the alpha matte over here. So we will get something like that. Okay, same procedure, select this O, which is this one, hit Ctrl X, go over here, hit Ctrl V, open square bracket and choose alpha mask. Same for this, hit Ctrl X, go over here, hit Ctrl V, open square bracket, choose alpha mask, enable this T. Select this, hit Ctrl X, go over here, hit Ctrl V, open square bracket and choose alpha mask. Select this, hit Ctrl X, go over here, hit Ctrl V, open square bracket and choose alpha mask. Now the last one, hit Ctrl X, go to the top layer, select this, hit Ctrl V, open square bracket, choose alpha mask. So now if you see this, we are gonna get something like this. Now we have to enable this text, that's why we are not seeing it. So if you see this, we will get something like this, but obviously we don't want alternation over here. So I'm going to take a distance of 5 frames and select these 3 layers, and let's move this over here, take distance over here, select these 3 layers, move this over here, again take a distance of 5 frames, select this, move them over here, take a distance of 5 frames, select this and move this over here like this. and take a distance of 5 frames. Select this, move this over here like that. So okay, so if you see this now, we are gonna get something like this, and let's try to move this over here. Now I'm gonna select all of these layers, and I'll try to move this a little bit forward over here. Okay, like that. So if you see this animation, we'll get something like this. If you want, you can try to move this a little bit from here as well, like this. So it will start to animate a little bit early. Okay, so we will get this kind of animation. Now after this, I'm going to select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as animation and hit OK. Now when this animation is somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select my pen tool. Then from here to here, I'm going to create one line, and let's change the stroke to black. I don't want any fill, so let's delete this fill and change this stroke to black only, but stroke width I'm going to choose 5. Select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Then select this somewhere around at 3 seconds. With the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here. Press S for scaling option, unlink this and create one keyframe. Go to around 4 seconds, create another keyframe. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Now go to the start and let's make this scale 0. Select those keyframe, go to the graph editor. Let's select this, shift hold, move one handle over here, which is this one, and move one handle over here, which is this one. Okay, like that. Then somewhere around at this point, press P to create one keyframe. Go few frame forward. Let's move this from here to here. Okay, select those keyframe, hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Okay, so we will get something like this. Now I want this at this point, this M should be gone. So let's select this text over here, and we need to create mask for this. So for that, I'm going to select rectangle tool, and I'm going to choose fill and choose red color for this fill, and let's delete the stroke. We don't need the stroke. And for that, I'm going to create this kind of rectangle and make sure this edge should touch this portion. And let's press fit, select this, press Ctrl Alt Home, hit enter, and let's call it as mask. And let's try to bring this over here like this. Okay, then let's choose alpha inverted mask, so it would be gone at this point. Okay, or you can choose alpha mask or alpha inverted mask over here at this point. And if you see, this is not gone because we have to make this parent with this layer. So let's make it a parent with this one, and let's hide this. So we will get something like this. Now let's try to create something else as well. Now after this, I'm going to hit U. Let's select all of this and hit Ctrl D and try to bring them at the top over here like that, and select those layers and let's try to bring them over here like this. Now somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select this layer. With the help of Alt open square bracket, I'm going to trim up to this over here like this. Then right click, reveal layer in source project and hit Ctrl D, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Then go inside this and I'm going to select all of this stuff. I don't need that, and I'm going to delete this. I want only this one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this uppermost portions and I'm going to bring them backward. So first we will get this and then we will get this. So if you see, we are getting this animation first, then this, and then this. Then this animation should end at this point over here, somewhere around at this point. So I'll hit N over here and then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background. Then go inside this animation, press F4, enable the motion blur. Also over this, select all of them and enable the motion blur. So now if you see this animation, we are gonna get this kind of text animations like that, and this animation is going to be continuously. Okay, and obviously you can simply right click new and create one adjustment layer, and you can go to the effect and presets panel, and you can search for tint effect because our entire animation is in a black and white format. Apply tint effect, and you can swap these colors whenever you want, and you will get different results. You can change this to red as well, it's totally up to you, and you will get this kind of animations. You can swap these colors, you will get this kind of structure. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as somewhere around like purple or something for me, but you can go with that black and white format as well. I would like to choose this color format. So yep, this is how you can create this kind of creative looping text animation inside of After Effects. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition, and we are going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, and duration is 1 minute long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title save action to get this kind of grid. Then I'm going to press Ctrl N to create a new composition, and I'm going to call it as strip. And width I'm going to choose 100, and height I'm going to choose 200, and simply hit OK. Then we will get this kind of strip. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Y to create one solid background which is in a white color. Then again I'm going to press Ctrl Y to create another background which is in black color, and let's hide this black color for now. Now I'm going to select my text tool, and I'm going to type my text motion over here like this. I'm going to select this text, and I'm going to choose black color, and also I'm going to change the font. Let's select this font and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then press S for scaling option, and I'll scale the size somewhere around like this. And I'm going to select this text. I'm going to type this dash at first. Let's reduce the font size, and I'm going to type dash over here as well. So we will get something like this. Then hit Ctrl Alt Home again, go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now I'm going to select this text, and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'm going to enable this layer, which is you can enable this icon, so we will see only this. And instead of motion I'm going to type design over here. Okay, like that. Then select this, go to the Align tab, choose align horizontal and align vertical, and make sure to press Ctrl Alt Home to align their respective anchor point at the center. And select this layer, go to the character menu and change this into white color. Okay, and let's disable this. Now select this motion and move over here, and now I'm going to enable this black color. So first we have this design text, then we have this black layer which is this one. Okay, then we have this motion text which is this one, and then we have this white color text. Now not text but solid. Now select this motion and this white color solid layer and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as text 01 and hit OK. Then enable these two layers, select both of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as text 02 and hit OK. Now let's hide this. Select this text 01 and press P for position to create one keyframe. Zoom in and let's go somewhere around 2 seconds and press V, and by holding shift I'm going to bring this from here to here. Let's move this over here like that. Okay, and after that, when it's completely gone and almost touching the edge of this composition, I'm going to enable my first comp, which is this one, and I'm going to make it apparent with this first layer. Okay, then go to the 4 seconds, and I'm going to copy this first keyframe, so hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So if you see this, now we are getting this animation, and then we are getting this animation. Now I'm going to take a distance of 20 frames after 2 seconds. I'm going to select this layer, keyframe, and I'll hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V over here. And because we took gap of 20 frames, after this 4 frames we need gap of 20 frames, and I'm going to move this keyframe over here like that. Then I'm going to select those keyframes and I'm going to hit F9 to ease those keyframes. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure to choose edit speed graph. Select the speed graph and by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So now if you see this animation, we are getting this kind of smooth text animation. Okay, then go to the 4 seconds and select those keyframes, and by holding alt I'm going to bring this keyframes over here. Then alt click on this stopwatch and I'm going to apply loop out expression over here. So let's apply loop out expression like this. Okay, so we are gonna get this animation continuously. So one thing we need to remember that our animation is in the form of loop at 4 second. Then I'll go to the main animation and I'm going to bring my strip over here and press Ctrl K to open the project settings and change the color of this one to red one. Okay, just for now. Now I'm going to select the strip and I'll hit Ctrl D, and I'm gonna go in Windows and I'm going to choose my animation point composer anchor point mover, and I'm going to click I'm going to click on this arrow, so our anchor point is gonna come over here. If you don't want to use it, all you can do is simply select this layer and choose your pen behind tool, and you can enable this snapping option, and then you can simply bring this over here. Then I'm going to hit Ctrl D again and I'm going to bring this anchor point over here. Then select this, hit Ctrl D, and now press Ctrl Alt Home to align their respective anchor point at the center. Okay, like that. Now we need to select all of these layers and convert these layers into 3D. I'm going to select this layer and I'll press R for rotation, and let's rotate it on plus 90 degree like that. Then select this, press R for rotation, and let's rotate it on minus 90 degree like this. And now we need to bring it forward. So instead of using this active camera, I'm going to choose top view and select your selection tool and try to bring this over here, so it should touch this. You can hold control as well to be precise. Okay, so let's try to move this somewhere around over here. Okay, zoom in, and with the help of arrow keys as well you can try to be precise. I'm going to bring this little bit over here. Okay, so this one looks good to me. Now let's make this fit, and now over here I'm gonna go in custom view so I can see something like this. Okay, now let's play this animation, and if you see over here, this text is quite weird. So what we can do, first of all, select all of them and press Ctrl Alt Home to align the respective anchor points at the center. Now what I want is that I want this one should be in a reversible format, so I'll press R, and instead of 90 I'm going to type minus 90 over here, and over here I'm going to press R, and instead of minus 90 I'm going to type plus 90. Okay, so now we are gonna get this kind of stuff over here like this. Okay, so this is our cube. So now let's make this active camera. Go to the start, select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to name it as cube. Okay, and hit OK, and click on this icon as well as this 3D icon. Press R for rotation, and now we have to rotate it on minus 90 degree, and simply bring this downwards like that. After that I'm going to right click new and create one camera, and let's choose angle of view to 89 and hit OK. Then select this cube, press P for position, and let's change the position on Z axis to somewhere around over here like that. Now after this let's go to the top view over here so we can see this from here. Now select this, hit Ctrl D, press P for position, and let's try to bring this from here to here like that. Okay, now if you see over here we have something like this. So now let's take a proper round figure. So over here I'm going to choose 2300 instead of whatever value over here, and over here I'm going to choose 2000 or even less than that. So let's make this 2100 like that. Okay, so what will happen, that difference between these two values is 200. Okay, so with the help of that we can create duplicates of it. So let's delete this, and now I'm going to type alt click on this stopwatch, and I'm going to type open and close square bracket, and inside that type position. After that, open and close square bracket and type 0. After that, hit comma and again time position. Again open and close square bracket and time 1. After that, comma, again type position, open and close square bracket and type 0. Now because the distance between these two is should be 200, so I'm going to type minus 200 star index. Okay, and deselect this. And now if I select this and let's try to bring this over here, and now if I hit Control D, I'm gonna get duplicates of this. So now let's make this active camera view. Let's make this fit. And now if I hit Control D several times, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff and I'll get this kind of animation. Now what we can do over here is that I'm going to select this cube and let's minimize it and zoom in. I'm gonna go somewhere around 5 seconds or 5 frames. Select all of this layers, hold Alt, close square bracket, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit OK, zoom out, and let's try to increase the duration of it up to this. Then select this and hit I to move over here. Select all of this and hold Alt, open square bracket, go to the start and let's move this over here. So now if you see this animation, we are gonna get this kind of reveal over here. Now what I want is that this thing should start to rotate as well. So right click, new, and create one null object. Convert that null object into 3D. Select all of this and all of these layers and make it a parent with this null. Select this null, press P, and you can change the position of Z somewhere around over here as well if you want. Like, okay, it's totally up to you. I think up to this is good. Or you, if you want, then you can try to bring this totally backward like that. Okay, this looks good to me. Now I'll go to the start and I know that my animation is going to be in the form of loop at 4 seconds. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So if I select this null object, if I press R, and I can rotate it on X, not X, but I think on Y axis or Z axis, like that I can rotate. So let's try to do it, but before that press P and let's move this value to somewhere around over here. Then press R for rotation, create one keyframe at Z, and as I said, 4 plus 4, 8. So my animation is going to be in the form of loop at 8 seconds, and at 8 seconds I'm going to make this 360-degree rotation and I'll hit N over here. Okay, like that. Then hit U. Then I'm gonna go in the start, and as you guys can see, I'll get this animation like this in the form of loop. Similarly, I'm gonna get this animation in the form of loop at 12 seconds as well. So just to make this animation a little bit slow, what I can do, I'm going to select this and I'll press R for rotation. Let's select this and let's move this over here like this at 12 seconds properly and hit N over there. Okay, so what will happen is that at this point I'm gonna get this animation in the form of loop. Then select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as animation and hit OK. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and try to bring this backward like this. Or you can press Ctrl Y and you can choose white color background as well to get this kind of stuff. So this is how you can create this kind of creative text animation inside of Adobe After Effects. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to name it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, and duration I'm going to choose 1 minute, and background color choose white color and simply hit OK and hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to press Ctrl N to create another composition and I'm going to call it as fair. Okay. And width I'm going to choose 500 and height as well 500. Frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. Then go to the ellipse, select this ellipse, and in fill we will choose black color and simply double click on this ellipse, so we will get this pair. Now let's select this ellipse, hit enter, and let's call it as black. Okay, then I'm going to select this, hit Control D to duplicate it, hit enter, and let's call it as white. Okay, then select this and change this fill to white like that. Okay, then select this white, go to the effect and presets panel and search for linear wipe effect and double click to apply and hit U. So as you guys can see, we are getting keyframes over here. Then go few frame forward and somewhere around at this point, which is 50, we will create one keyframe. So let's delete all of these keyframes like that. So now if you see over here, we have one white and one black, and this is our sphere. So let's go to the main animation, hit Control 0, and let's bring this sphere over here. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and we are going to choose a little bit grayish color background, and let's try to bring this downwards and let's lock this. Then select this sphere, press S for scaling option, and let's make this scale 50. Okay, and now I'm going to select this pair and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'll hold Ctrl, or you can simply enable this snapping option and try to snap this properly at the downwards. Then select this, hit Ctrl D. Let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay, but before that, let's do one thing. I'm going to delete this one. I'll select this sphere over here. I'll press R for rotation and I'm going to rotate it on 90 degree. Okay, like that. Or instead of that, what you can do, let's select this, press R and let's zero again like that. I'm going to select this pair, right click, reveal layer in source project. So we will get over here. I'll select this pair and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. And by holding Alt, I'm going to simply replace it over here. Then go inside this sphere, select this white and make it apparent with this black. Then select this black, press R for rotation and rotate it on 90 degree. Okay, like that. But if you see, we are still not getting anything. So let's do one thing. Let's make this 0 and I want this one should also get moved. Okay, so see, if you want, then you can select both of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as fill over here, and then press R and let's make this 90 degree rotation. So if you see over here, we don't need to change the rotation over here. The reason why I'm going to do this, because when it's going to get animated, we need to rotate this as well. Okay, so that's why I don't want to rotate it over here. Instead of that, I would prefer to create duplicate. I'll replace it, and inside that I am going to rotate it. Okay, simple as it is. Now we will select these two. We will hit Ctrl D and I'm going to bring them at the top, and let's try to bring this over here, and we have to make sure that they are going to touch each other properly. Again hit Ctrl D and let's bring this over here, and let's try to bring this over here like that. Again hit Ctrl D, bring this at the top, and let's try to bring this over here. It should touch the bottom. Okay, and then let's make this fill. Now select this pair over here, press P, select this position, right click and choose separate dimension, zoom in. Let's create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y, and then go somewhere around 1.20 frames. I'm going to change this X position of this one over here up to this, and by holding shift, I'm going to bring this downwards like that. And somewhere around at 1.20 frame, I'm going to change the Y position of this one to over here, or you can simply move this from here. And we don't need to create keyframe on X, so I'll delete it. Then I'm going to select this Y position keyframe and I'm going to hit F9. Then I'll go to the graph editor. I'll select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, shift hold, move this over here. Select this, shift hold, move this over here. Select this and shift hold and move this over here. Okay, so we will get this kind of animation. Now I am going to press R for rotation to create one keyframe. Hit U, go to the last frame and let's make this 3 rotations. So we will get something like that. Now same kind of animation I want for this pair as well, but I want this animation should start at this point. Okay, so for that what I'm gonna do, first I would love to create keyframes. So what I'm gonna do, hit P for position, select this, right click and choose separate dimension, and I'm going to select this keyframes only. I'll hit Ctrl C, I'll select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl V. Now if you see, they are also moving on this point, but our main animation is starting over here, so I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do initially, I'm going to move this over here like that. Okay, it should be properly over here. Let's try to touch it properly like this. Okay, don't change the position of it like that. Like it should be properly 960 over here like this. Okay, just like our previous one. Okay, and then at this point I'm gonna select this, and instead of on this side, I'm going to holding shift, I'm going to move this on this side. Okay, so if you see this animation now, we will get something like that. Then I'm going to select this rotation property keyframe. I hit Control C. I'll select this and I'll hit Control V over here. Now if you press R, we will get same animation like that. But this time I want this value should be -3. So let's type -3. Okay, like that. Then hit U and let's go somewhere around 20 frame. I'm going to select this keyframe and let's move this over here. Okay, like that and then like that. Then we need this animation in the form of loop. So simply right click new and create one null object. I'm going to select all of these layers and I'll make it apparent with this null. Then I'm going to press Ctrl R and let's try to bring this ruler over here like that. Zoom in a little bit and let's try to adjust this over here. Then select this null object, press P for position to create one keyframe. Then hit U over here and make sure it should go at this point over here. Then select this null object and change this Y position of this one to somewhere around at this point over here like that. And if you hit N over here and if you make this fit and if you check it out this animation, we are gonna get this kind of animation. But if you see over here at this point, this object is still visible as well as this. So what we can do, let's select this object. Let's go to this keyframe and we will move this Y position a little bit more downward. Similarly, at this point, we will move this Y position a little bit downward. So now if I'm going to see this animation, I'll get this animation. Then I'll get this animation continuously like that in the form of loop. Now I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift C and I'm going to name it as animation and hit OK. Then double click to open this over here. Hit U. Let's go to this work area, right click and choose trim comp to work area. Then go to the main animation, hit O so we can go at the end of our current time indicator. Right click, choose time and choose time enable remapping. And before last keyframe, I'll create another keyframe and then I'll delete this keyframe. We don't need that. And I know that my animation is ending at this point over here. So we'll take up to few frames forward. If you see, we have this animation and after this, it's not going anywhere because we need to apply loop out expression on this stopwatch. So I'll click on the stopwatch and let's apply loop out expression over there like that. So if you see this now, we are gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Now we just need to check it out at which point we should stop this animation. Now I'll go somewhere around to this frame and we have to make sure that when this ball is gonna touch our line, which is our reference line. So I think at this point this is touching this line. Let's go a few frame forward a little bit. I think at this point over here it's touching this line, but this is going to be a very fast. So I think this line is enough. So I'll hit N over here. Okay. So now if you make this fit, we can see our animation is going to be in the form of loop after this point as well. And now if I right click new and create one adjustment layer, I'm going to apply tint effect on it and double click to apply and I can easily swap this color. Now I'm gonna go inside this, select this pair over here. Let's go to the start, right click, choose layer styles and choose bevel and emboss. Okay, not this one, but this one, which is over here. Right click, layer styles, bevel and emboss. Go to the bevel and emboss and let's increase the softness as well increase the size of it like that. And let's decrease the shadow opacity over here a little bit like this. Also over here, we will choose this kind of shadow. Okay. If you want to choose specific color, you can choose that. I'm going to choose, I think white color would be okay. Okay. Then I'm going to select this layer styles, hit Control C, select all of these layers and hit Control V to paste it. Okay. Now if you go and see in main animation comp, and if you swap this color over here, you will get this in different direction. Okay. Now we need to animate our adjustment layer as well. So let's swap this color over here like that. And I'm going to create one ellipse, and by holding shift, create that ellipse. Select this, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Select this adjustment layer, press F4 and choose Alpha Mask. Then select this, go to the start, press S. Initially it should be 0 to create one keyframe. Somewhere around at this point, I am going to increase this value that it should cover the entire portion like that. Okay, over here. Then at this point, I'm going to select these two adjustment layer and shape layer. I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. And with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to shift them over here. Then hit U, and we have to make sure that this keyframe should be at the end. Okay, so what will happen after this one, we will get the same tint effect over here like that. Now after that, again I'm going to right click new and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect and swap this color. Then press S, unlock, and let's make this value 0. Create one keyframe at the start. Over here, create one keyframe. Then at this point, I'm going to make this value 100 again. Then select this adjustment layer, hit Ctrl D, open square bracket and move this over here and hit U. And let's bring this keyframe over here like that. So if you see this now, we are gonna get something like that. Okay. And then we will get this again animation in the form of flow. Then again, I'm going to add one last over here. Or you can simply select this to adjustment layer and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and you can call it as animation over here and hit OK. Now let's go inside this and hit U. I'm going to select those keyframes and let's hit F9 over there. Then go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move one hand or make sure to uncheck this, check it out this options. Then select this and by holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here like that. So if you see this now, we are not getting anything because we need to press F4 and we need to enable this option over here. Okay, so what will happen because of this, there is going to be a little bit softer animation. Then I'm going to select this layer, I'll hit Ctrl D, I'll press R for rotation and I'm going to rotate it on 90 degree over here. Okay, so if you check it out this animation now, we are gonna get something like that. But this animation is ending at this point over here. So if you want, if you're happy with this one, then you can go for this one as well. But if you want that this should expand a little bit, you can press S, unlink this, and you can scale it on this axis like that. Okay, so now if you're gonna see this animation, you will get something like this. Okay, like that. And this is how you will get this kind of animation in the form of loop. So yep, this is how you can create this kind of creative looping animations inside of After Effects. If you want to go a little bit in depth, you can select this animation layer. You can go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply. Then increase the distance a little bit, as well as increase the softness, increase the distance, and let's decrease the opacity according to your needs. So you are gonna get this kind of a little bit shadow effect over there like that. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of animation. Here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation, just like we always do. Width is 1920 and height going to be 180. Frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to select my text tool and I'm going to type my text motion over here, and I'm going to choose black color. And if you want, you can check it out some other fonts as well. I'm gonna choose this Colvatic, and make this value like that. Then select this font, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and scale it like this. Okay, if you want, then you can change this font according to your needs. Okay, I'm going to keep it something like this, and let's try to remove this tracking like that. Now I'm going to select this layer and I'm going to change the color of this one to red one because this is going to be my reference layer. So let's select this text and hit Ctrl D, and this time I'm going to choose black color. And I'm going to remove this all stuff and let's delete this. We need this M only. Press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Press V and let's try to bring this M properly on this layer. Hit Ctrl D, move this over here and change this text to O. Then select your selection tool and try to adjust it. Then hit Ctrl D, move this over here, hit Ctrl T for the text tool, then type T, select your selection tool and move this over here. Again hit Ctrl D, let's change this text to I. Select this and let's try to move this over here. Then hit Ctrl D, move this over here, change this text to O. Select your selection tool and let's try to bring this over here. Hit Ctrl D, change this text to N. Select this and let's try to move this over here. And let's make this value fit. Now I'm going to delete this layer because we don't need that. Now what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to animate this and this layers first. So let's select this and this. Let's bring them at the top and press P for position. Select this two, right click and choose separate dimension. Now what I can do is that I'm going to animate this first. So let's create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Zoom in. Let's go somewhere around 1.10 frames and create one keyframe at X and Y. Then in middle, let's go at the start. Select this and let's move this over here like that. Then in the middle, I'm going to create one keyframe at Y. Then somewhere around 10, I'm going to bring this value somewhere around over here like that. Then at this point, again, I'm going to bring this value somewhere around over here like this. Don't create any position on X. Then select this Y position, hit F9, go to the graph editor, and just like our all other tutorials, let's zoom in. And first of all, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. Select this graph, hold shift, move this handle over here, this handle over here, move, select this, move this handle over here, select this, move this portion over here, select this, move this over here and this over here. Select this, move this portion over here and this portion over here. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of bounciness. Then press R for rotation to create one keyframe. Hit U, go to the end frame and let's make this value 2 rotation. Hit OK. So what will happen that we are going to get this kind of animation. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this layer and I'll hit Ctrl D and I'll hit U over here so we can see those keyframes, and let's try to bring this somewhere around over here like that. And with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here and I'm simply going to select this X position over here, and let's go at the end over here. At the end, all this O is also coming over here. Now I need to move this at this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this Y position keyframes which are at the end, and let's delete this. Bring this X rotation keyframe over here. I mean rotation keyframe over here, and I'm going to choose only one complete rotation. Okay, let's delete this and let's go over here and change this value to 1 only and select this X keyframe over here. Now if you see over here what we have this animation now and we have this animation now. So at this point, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go over here and I'll move X position at this point, which is over here. Let's select this and change this color to red, and let's try to adjust it properly. And then at this point, I'm going to try to bring this X position of this one to at this O. So now if I'm going to see this animation, I'll get this and then like this, and I will delete this layer. So now if you see over here, we have this and then we have this. Okay. So it's like after this, we are getting this. Now let's select this M over here. We will try to animate this M. Let's select this O, this animation is done. So we will lock this layer. I'm going to select this M and press Alt square, I mean Alt, not Alt, but open square bracket. Press P for position, and I want it should come from the top. So let's try to do it. Create one keyframe over here, then go somewhere around, create another keyframe, again go few frame forward, create another keyframe, and in middle I'm going to bring this a little bit upward, then go to the start, and let's try to bring this upward over here. Then select those keyframe and let's hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, and by holding shift, let's move this handle over here and this handle over here. Zoom in, select this by holding shift, move this over here and this over here. Zoom in, select this, hold shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Okay, so we will get this kind of look that it's coming from the top. So now we have created these two animations for this O and this O, like that. Then we need and something that should reveal this T as well. So what I'm gonna do over here is that I need some strokes that should reveal this T. So I'm going to create one pen tool, and from here to here I'm going to create one stroke. And initially let's change the color of the stroke to red, and I don't want any fill, so let's delete this fill. Select the shape layer and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, and press V, and let's try to bring this somewhere at the center of the uppermost portion, and let's increase the stroke width somewhere around like that. Then select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. Then hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press R for rotation and let's rotate it on 90 degree like that. And let's try to bring this over here and again increase the stroke size of this one. Okay, and let's make this fit. Okay, let's try to make this fit. Select both of these layers and press Ctrl Alt Home to align their anchor point at the center. Now this animation should get revealed somewhere around at this point. So let's bring this over here and press S for scaling option. Or instead of that, what we can do is that we can add trim path to this. So go to the add trim path. Let's go to the trim path. Let's create one keyframe at the start over here and one keyframe at the end. Let's make this end value 0 initially. Let's go somewhere around 3 seconds. Let's make this both value 100 as well as this value 100. Select this start frame and let's try to bring this over here. Then select those keyframes and let's hit F9 to easily those keyframe. Go to the graph, select this graph, hold shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. So we will get something like that. Then I'm going to select this trim path, hit Ctrl C, select this layer and hit Ctrl V. Okay, like that. Hit U and let's bring this animation a little bit over here like that. Okay, now I'm going to select these layers and I'm going to change the color of this one to black. Okay, so what will happen when this is gonna get covered with this? This point I want this T should get revealed, so I'm going to move this T somewhere around at this point. So if you see this animation over here, we will get this and then we will get this. Okay, so this is done, this is done. Then only thing remaining is this I over here and this N. So let's try to animate this N first. At this point, when this is crossing this, I want this N should come from the top. So okay, so somewhere around at this point, I'll bring this N over here, press P to create one keyframe, go few frame forward somewhere around at this point over here. I want this N should come at the bottom, then go to the start and initially let's move this end upper portion to this one. Then select this keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph and let's try to bring this over here like that. So it should come downward like this, and there should be some masking over here. So for that, I'm going to select rectangle and choose any fill, and let's delete the stroke. And then from here to here, create one rectangle like that. Go over here, hit enter, and let's call it as mask. Press F4, press F4 and choose alpha mask like that. And let's move this over here, the help of open square bracket. So it should look like that it's coming from this line. Let's select this and let's try to bring this a little bit downward like that. Okay. So we'll get something like this over here. Now I'm going to select these two layers over here. Let's go to the start and press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as stroke animations and hit OK and hold Alt open square bracket to trim up to this. Then I'm going to hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. I'll hit page down button 2 to 3 times and move this handle over here. Right click, reveal layer in source project. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Then go inside this, select this stroke layers, and let's change the color of this one to white and change the stroke width to little bit downward like that, somewhere around 8 maybe. Okay, so what will happen that we are gonna get this as well as this stroke lines over here. Okay, like that. And then somewhere around at this point over here, there should be revelation of eye. So let's select this eye, press Y for pen behind tool, and let's try to bring this anchor point downward like that. And how to reveal this eye, somewhere around at this point when entire animation is done, I'm going to bring this over here, press S, unlink this, create one keyframe, go few frame forward, create another keyframe, and at the start I'm going to make this value 0. Select this keyframe and let's hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph, hold shift and move this handle over here and this handle over here like that. So we'll get something like this. So if you see this animation now, we are gonna get something like that. Okay, if you want, you can move this eye over here and you can change this keyframe totally up to this. Okay, like that. So first we'll get this animations and then this. Now let's select all of this and press F4. Select all of them and enable motion blur. Even go inside the stroke animations and make sure to enable their motion blurs. Okay, like that. So if you see this now, first we'll get this and then we are gonna get this animations. Okay, like that. Now hit U to to reveal this. Select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose like that. Okay, now when this animation is done, somewhere around at this point, I'll press P to create one keyframe, go few frame forward up to 5 seconds, and let's try to bring this totally downward like that. Select those keyframes and let's hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, shift hold and move this handle over here like that. Now there should be something that should cover this stuff. So let's select this rectangle, let's delete this stroke, and from here to here I'm going to create this mask. Select this and let's move this upward like that. Then select this and press F4 and choose alpha inverted mask. Okay, so it will be gone at this point, and then over here I'm going to hit N. So if you see this animation now, we'll get something like that. But what I want is that I don't want this kind of error over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'll go to the start, I'm going to select this layer and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer, and let's bring this at the bottom, and over here I'm going to reveal no tire tracks and try to bring this at the top. Okay, over here. Or I think I did mistake over here. Let's hit Control Z. Over here, what we can do, hit U, select this and hit Control Shift D to split this layer. Let's bring this downwards And this bottom layer, which is this one, let's remove this mask and try to bring this at the top. And now if you see this animation, we will get something like this, and this animation is gone. And again, we will get this animation from the start. And you can select all of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C, and you can call it as animation and hit OK. Hit Ctrl D, press S, unlink this, and you can make this -100. Then press P for position and try to bring this downwards. And we have to check it out where this is ending properly. Okay, like that. Then press T for opacity and let's decrease the opacity like that. Go over here, choose rectangle tool, and let's create some mask like this over here and increase the mask feathers like this. Okay, so we will get this kind of a reflection kind of a illusion like over here. And this is how we will get this animation. You can bring this a little bit upward like that. Okay, and then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and try to bring this downwards like this. Okay, over here. Then another thing you can do over here is that you know that our animation is ending at this point. Then select all of these layers, press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as animation and hit OK. Go inside this in work area, simply right click and choose trim comp to work area. Go to the main animation, right click, time enable remapping, and before the last keyframe, I'll go one frame backward, create another keyframe, and I'll delete the last keyframe, delete. Then alt click on the stopwatch and let's apply loop out expression over there and deselect. And then I'm going to increase this duration like that, and up to 10 frames. I don't want anything, so hit page down and hit N over here. So I'll get this animation up to this, and this is how at the end as well my animation is going to be in the form of loop. Then I'm going to right click new and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect and double click to apply, and let's swap this color. Then go to the start. Initially, I'm going to bring this over here. Press P for position to create one keyframe. Go over here and let's try to bring this from here to here like that. And if you see this animation now, I'm gonna get this animation like that in the form of loop like this. Okay. So as you guys can see, this is how we can create this kind of creative text animation inside of After Effects.